Hello, hello. Hello, good evening. Hey everybody, good evening. I hope you're all having a great evening. Let me mess around here with my video a little bit and we'll get started. We've got some really fun things here to show you this evening. So if you're jumping on, make sure you say hi so that I know you're here. All right, let's get going. I'm so excited to show you the Easy.Art January box, Design 1. We're revealing that here today. So I'm excited to be bringing that to you. So if this is your first time watching me live, say hello so I know you're here. I'm so excited. So this is our design number 1 for the Easy.Art subscription box, and this is for the January box. So I'm so excited to bring you this new design here. You know, for the last month or so we've been working on ornaments and all kinds of wonderful things for Christmas. Well, now as we go into the January box, we're going to start thinking about maybe some thoughts into Valentine's Day. So I've got some different colors that we're going to be working with here today. This is our design for the day, and it's design number 1 for the upcoming January subscription box. So I've got a couple samples here of some designs that I've created with this template. So we'll be doing something similar to this one here. So I'll set those aside so that you can see what I'm doing here. This is how the designs look when they first come to you in your subscription box. So you can see that they are laser cut. They have the design right there laser etched into the piece. Makes it really easy for you to complete a fantastic dot art design. So as I usually do, I do have my design just painted black just to get started. You can paint your design any color you want. I prefer black because I simply like the way that the colors look on the black. So I think for me, I probably won't ever stray too far from that black background. Now today, I've got some really wonderful colors that we're going to work with here. These are all Deco-Art Americana multi-surface satin paints. And they actually come from, hey Lynn, good to see you this evening. These paints are actually part of the Deco-Art Rainbow Mandala paint set. So let me show you this. Deco-Art sends out their things, so they're just cute. There's the little box that I got my paints in. It says, Creativity takes courage and paint, Deco-Art. This is the Rainbow Mandala paint set. So I'll be using 5 of the 8 paints in the set. So I'll show you what paints actually came in this set. If you're jumping on, say hi so I know you're here. So tonight I'll be using Pink Tropics, Blue Turquoise, Purple Sunset, and I'll probably be throwing in some Cotton Ball. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to incorporate the white into that, but I probably will. Now, the black tie is great for a background paint color. I forgot there was black in this rainbow set, so I painted my background with the Mars Black, which is a Deco-Art social artworking paint. I painted it with that, which is a matte finish. This is a satin finish, so next time I'll try to remember that that's in there, and I'll use the satin finish so you guys can see what that looks like. Now, the 3 that are in this box that I am not using tonight, this is in the Rainbow Mandala set, is the Deco-Art Turf Green, School Bus, and Pumpkin Patch. So I'm not including those in this design tonight. I really want to go more towards the Valentine's Day type look. So, hey Nancy, how you doing this evening? Good to see you. Glad you're here. So if you guys have any questions as I'm starting, feel free to let me know and I'll answer as we go along. So with this on the design, I've got this design here where we have our center dot right in the middle. It makes it really easy to find where you're going to start with your mandala. The majority of mandalas really start with a center dot. That's not necessary, but it does really help to keep your mandala centered up. So we'll start this one right here with the center dot. And I'll show you what I do on the non-painted one so you can see. And I'm going to use my Pittsburgh punch set tonight. That's this set here, 28-piece set. I'll be using that, my nail dotting tools, and I've got a different nail dotting tool that I may incorporate as well. And I do have some toothpicks over here as well that are fantastic for dotting. So what I will do with this one, I'll just show you how I measure my center dot here. So typically what I do, I'll take just one of my tools here from the Pittsburgh punch set, and actually that one looks like a perfect fit. I will try one more up to see if I like that, and I think that one's going to be a little big. So I'm just going to start with this one here, and I do believe I'm going to start with, I typically will start with white, but you know what? This time I'm going to mix it up. I'm not even confident I'm going to use the white. So I'm going to start here probably with the pink. So this is the pink Tropics. I'll move on to the purple and then the blue. And then maybe I'll add in some white as some accent later. But we'll get these first three out here and get started with these colors. They're really rich colors, and I'm not sure I want to add the white in with them. So we'll start with the pink Tropics. All right, so let's move this guy aside. And I'm going to start just right here in the center. And I'm going to get my dot lined up right within the guideline there. And I will go ahead and press down until my dot just fills up that center circle. And my biggest goal was to not go over the laser cut lines. I want to make sure that my dot fills up the area, but I'm trying not to go into the laser cut line. So got my dot right there, looking really good. And as I usually do, I'm going to lay my tool to the side so I know that that's one that I've already used here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out a pretty small Pittsburgh punch set dotter here, and I am just going to line up here with my design. And I'm going to go north, south, east, and west and put a dot very close to the center dot. I call that hugging it up. So I hug that dot up to the previous one, and then I'm going to go in and put one in between each one of those. And I like doing it that way simply because it helps keep those dots lined up and it keeps them from being wonky. So I don't like wonky dots. I want them to be lined up as much as possible. Okay, so there we are with the center there. Boy, those colors are vibrant. They are absolutely beautiful. If you guys have a chance to pick some of those up, I highly recommend it. I got those off of the Deco Art website, and they ran a sale on Black Friday, and I purchased those there. So I'm going to go ahead and add the blue in. I'm just going up 4 sizes here on my Pittsburgh punch set. And I am just going to hug a dot in here at the little valley of each one of the previous dots there. Now, one thing I always try to remind people is it's okay to turn this item around. I mean, basically, we are working with a circular type design here, so there is no harm in turning your design and moving it around as you go. Oh, did you, Lynn? I'm telling you what, they had a great sale. I think they had 40% off of everything. So, as you know, if you've listened to me before, I absolutely love Deco Art paints for dotting. They have a great consistency with their paint, and I don't have to do anything to them to make them work out really well for the dot art and what I'm doing. So I'm just testing a couple sizes here. I want to go right in between this next set here without My video's frozen here. I want to see. Yeah, they did have a great sale, didn't they? Okay, guys. Well, I'm glad I can see your comments, but my video's frozen. I hope that you can see my design. Let me know that you can see my design, that it's lined up there where you can see everything. My video's frozen, but I'm seeing your comments come through. So I just went down a couple sizes from that size I was just using, and I'm really just fitting in here right in the design. I just got large enough on the dots to fit into the previous row of dots that I already did. And I just want to make sure that I'm not going into the guideline that is laser etched into the Easy Dot Art piece. Okay, ooh, I'm loving that. You can see my design good, Lynn. Thank you so much. I tell you, I don't know why why it's frozen on the live feed here. But anyways, I wanted to make sure you could see that. Oh my gosh, aren't those colors beautiful? All right, so I'm just going to work my way out here on this design, and I really want to go a little bit bigger here on this. I really want it to be like I am stepping up, but probably not that big. And I've got a circle here in my design. So this is where I'm at right here on my design. And I've got a circle here that I want to go to the outside of that. And I'm going to go with that beautiful purple sunset. And I'm going to put a dot right on the edge of that circle, lined up here with my deep turquoise. And later on, we'll go in and fill some dots in there between the purple and the turquoise. I'm just getting the base part of my design lined up here. And I tell you, that's what I love about these Easy Dot Art templates, is I can go out farther in the design and still be able to maintain what design I'm working on, but then I have the option to go back later and add additional elements in, because my guidelines have kept me lined up to where I don't have to worry about leaving, or what do I want to say, making my design wonky. I love that, design wonky. So we don't want a wonky design. We want to make sure that we stay lined up and we have the design elements that we want. So I'm going to go on out here with that beautiful turquoise again, and I really am going to go bigger. All right, so I'm going to go a little bit bigger here, and I want to, oops, I'm just measuring my dot here, and I did go considerably bigger. I want to put a really good statement dot in here with this deep turquoise. And there is the second circle here that I'm lining up against here. So I'm in between these two circles here. And I'm going to line this up here, and I'm just going to do what I call hugging it in there. I'm just kind of nesting it in the previous two dots to make sure that I keep it lined up and keep it where I want it here within the design. All right, that is looking really good. Okay, there we go. Wonderful. Okay. All right, so now, let me get a little drink here. We're going to move on back out again. We're going to work with that pink tropics. And as I go out, I'm really just going to go out here to the area here where I have my, I have some little valleys here that I want to fill in. Now, the every other one is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to work on filling the smaller space, and then we'll go back in and fill up that bigger one. So I don't want it to be as big as the previous one, but more like that other one. So like I said, I saved my tool out here on what the other one was that I did here, and I do that on purpose so that if I want to maintain that dot size, I can come back in and do that pretty easily. So I'm just skipping here because on the design, every other one is a little bit smaller. I just want to see what this looks like with the smaller dot here as part of this element, and see if I want to do that exact same thing or if I want to do something a little different. And I may go in and do something a little different, and I think what I'll do is just do a different color, and then that will we'll be able to differentiate those two areas. So I think that'll make it look really nice here, because I think I really want to do some dot walking. And if you have not seen me do dot art before, I'll show you what dot walking is. Okay, so I'm going to work on some dot walking here in all 8 areas here. And what I want to do is continue that color theme on out. So on the pink ones, I'm going to start with just a small dot of the next color out, which is the purple. So I've just got my smallest Pittsburgh punch set here, and I want to go ahead and put a purple dot right above the pink one, and I want to line it up as much as possible in the center there. And sometimes if you get to where you're not looking directly down onto your design, you may go a little off center, and we get those wonky dots again. So I'm just taking my time to really line that up, and then I'm going to do the same with the after the purple, I do the blue, so we're going to do that with the blue dot here. And what we're going to do is have alternating colors here on this dot walking, and it's really going to add a little something to this design here and make it look a little different. Okay, now I'm going to utilize my nail dot tools, and I'm just going to pick one that is a fairly small tip on it, and I'm going to just start with the blues, and I'm going to dip once, and I will take it to where it will dot, dot, dot without redipping until I get down to the previous area. And I redipped again for this side, and then I'll turn back over here to the next one, and I'll just dip and then dot, 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 dot until I run out of paint or run out of room. And I try not to push it as far as trying to fit another piece in, because I generally find that if I try to fit another one in where it really probably shouldn't, then I end up crowding my dots. So, and it doesn't really matter to me if it has the same amount of dots on each side, because when you get in the grand scheme of things, when you're really looking at all the dots, you really can't notice that you have 4 on one side and 5 on the other. Once you have 500 dots on here, it's not something that you typically would notice. Okay, so we've got our blue ones on there. We're going to work on our purples now. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, we don't have as much area on these because they are the ones that the area where that big dot is nesting in there, it's a little bit smaller area. So I don't have as far to go down on these. So if you're not familiar with this, this is Easy Dot Art. It's my subscription box that I am working with in conjunction with Diverse Woodworking. So it's a monthly subscription box. If you order this box before the 25th of the month, then they do go out at the beginning of the month. So, but this month in January, of course, we have January 1st is a holiday. So it'll go out as soon as the next work day comes up. So I think that's January 3rd. So a little different this month because of the holidays. Okay, so now I'm going to go out here with the next color. So for instance, on this one, it is blue, and I'm going up in size on my top dot up here. It's just up in size, one size up. And I'm going to do all the blue first. And I'm just doing a dot on there twice, just to make it a hair bigger. All right, and then we'll switch over. Same size tool, and I'm going to do the pink. Because what I'm doing is I'm picking up that third color on each one of these so that it is a different color scheme as we go out. It just gives it a little bit of a different look than doing them all the same. Right, now we'll go back in, and I think I'll probably just use the same size here. Let me look at the next size up. Yeah, I think I'm real happy with this size that I used before, so I'll go ahead and do the same thing. I'm dipping in the pink, getting a good amount of paint on there, and I'm just going to walk those dots down. Both sides. You can do it one of two ways. You can go all the way around on the same side and then go back and do the other side, or you can just do both sides, whatever works for you. And I'll do it differently every time. And I'm just fitting as many dots as I can in there without squeezing them in. And I just want to cover that design completely, to where it just is going edge to edge there on the Easy Dot design. One more here. And I'm just hugging those up there, so it just puts a little frame around that last row of dots. And then we'll go ahead and go on with the blue. This is our deep turquoise. I am really happy with these colors. I'm so glad I got this set. It's beautiful. And I'm making sure that I put a really healthy amount of paint onto my ball daughter here. I just want to make sure that I'm giving good coverage to each dot. I don't want to run out of paint before I get to the end. All right, there we go. Now, I have a bit of a design decision to make here. So my decision is whether I want to do some dots in here or if I want to continue some dots out to the outside. And I think I may go ahead and continue the same color that I had here, the turquoise, and go up on this design and see what that element looks like. I think that'll be real pretty. It'll give it a totally different look than some of the other things that I've done, and that's really what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just continue to dot up here. I'm going to go back and load my paint each time because I don't want my dots to get smaller. I'm just going up on this line here, and it's going to put kind of a almost like a W design in here. And it'll be something a little bit different, almost a little southwestern look. And then we'll match it up with the pink on the other 4 areas. We'll match it up with that really pretty pink tropic. Okay, now we'll go up on the pink side here. All right, if you're just joining in, make sure you say hi so I know that you're here. Okay, so we're going to continue dotting up the sides of the design here. And my key for me here, I'm not running into where I had those walked dots. I may go back with a toothpick and put another dot in there. I just don't want to crowd those dots up. I just wanted the design to go up the side here. The thing is about dot mandalas, no 2 designs are alike, even if you do the same one over and over. It's hard to recreate the same exact design every time, but you can get close. But the neat thing is, rarely are 2 designs ever alike. And the neat thing about the Easy Dot Art templates is it allows you the guidelines to be as creative as you want, but still helping you line up your designs, and which is fantastic whether you're a beginner or an experienced dot artist. These designs are phenomenal because they allow you to stay lined up and make a really phenomenal, unusual design, but within the guidelines so that you're able to keep your mandala as round as you want it to be, or within that dot design that you've got there. Okay, so now what I think we'll do, we're going to work on these, the pointed areas. It's almost like a sunburst. So I want to work a little bit within this sunburst here. And I am debating on whether I want to put some big dots in there. It's kind of one of those things that, it's the design process and deciding whether you like that negative space. Sometimes it's kind of nice. So I might leave that just a little bit and think about it and decide if I'd rather have the negative space there or if I want to do something totally different there. Now, what I want to do then is I have a lot of negative space in the center that I do want to think about. So I'm planning on going back in, and I may want to add the white in there to start incorporating some of that brighter color in with that. So you wouldn't think that white would be such a bright color, but I think in with this, it will really make the whole design pop. So I think we're going to pour some white out here, and we're going to see how we can incorporate that in to bring this design to another level here, because we didn't have the white in any of the mix before. So I think it's going to be really nice to go ahead and incorporate that in here. So I'm just kind of measuring a few different things here, and I want to make sure that I can fit. Let's see. I'm looking to see what I can fit in. I can fit a white in each one of these. These are going to be really tiny dots here. They're so tiny, it's making me hold my breath while I'm doing it. So I know that it looks like one is smaller than the other. So I'm dotting the bigger one first, and then coming back in and dotting the smaller, what looks like a smaller area second. Then that way I can incorporate those in there without, my goal is to not touch the other dots. I don't want to touch that other area. So I'm wanting to put 3 in here, but I'm not sure it's going to fit. So I'm just kind of playing around with this design here and seeing what I really want to do. But I think I may just come in here with a small one. And this is a toothpick I'm using here because I really wanted 3 dots in there, because I really wanted it full with that small white dot. So I'm putting 1 in the middle evenly, and then 1 on each side. So a lot of times when you're doing this, it's a matter of getting that initial design down and then coming back in and filling in, seeing where you need more coverage. I had to hold my breath on that one. It's so funny when people first start dotting, I always ask them, I'll say, are you breathing? Because it really is true. Sometimes you're concentrating so much on getting that little dot in there that you hold your breath. I know I do that. Okay, so this is looking like a little flower in the middle. That's really pretty. Okay, you guys, these colors are amazing. I don't know if you can see how vibrant they are on the video, but they are truly amazing colors here. Highly recommended. Okay, oh, that looks so nice with that circle of the very small dots. I really, really like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go in this area, and I'm going to look and see what size dot I want to use in there to fill that in without, I don't want to touch the other. I think this one's going to work. So what I do, I'll just kind of kiss it in there, and I'll judge how big the footprint is of the dot, and then I'll stop when it looks like it's going to get too big and touch the other one. Then that gives me the ability to fit that in there without touching. So it's a matter of kind of being patient with it, and as you're going through with the motion of putting the dot down, being patient enough to look and see what the dot is doing and filling it in as you go. Okay, yep, I'm loving that white and what it's doing for the design. It's really making that design pop out there. Okay, so let's see. I love the way the negative space looks on the, almost like a sunburst here. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and fill in a pink area here, I believe, because I think that'll look really nice there. Let me see what size dot we want here. I don't want as big as the purple, but I am going to fill in a pink, and I'm going to hug it up to the purple one. And I'm just hugging that right up to the purple one without touching it. And that just makes that dot fit right in there. Okay. I'm liking that. Now, I'm going to go back in with one of my nail art tools, and I'm going to put some white in between the pink and the blue. So if you're just jumping on, say hi so I know that you're here. I'm glad you're joining me here tonight. This is design number 1 of the January subscription box for the Easy Dot Art. So glad you're joining in here. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. I think that's a little bit too big, so I'm going to look for a little bit smaller tool here. So a lot of what I do as I go through is I go in and I just coordinate and see what is going to fit in there. And a lot of it depends upon how close previous dots are. And there's sometimes that I may have to change up an idea a little bit to see if something else would fit better. For instance, I have a tendency to lean to one side with my design. So what I mean is this pink dot is just a little to the left on every one of these. And it must be just the way I look at it, and I do that all the time. So what I'm doing here is I'm dotting on the right side, it's a little bigger, and then dotting on the left. And this one's opposite, yay. So that I can fit that dot in there without those touching. So a lot of that is just making sure that you're adapting to where those dots are as you go through. Okay, all right, that's looking really good, you guys. Aren't those colors beautiful? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through and just make a decision on whether or not I want to fill in this negative space. I am really liking the negative space, so I may not do that, but I am going to go in, I think, and see if I need to put just a little bitty dot in. Maybe I don't. I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. I don't want my dots to touch, so I'm not going to push it here. But I think what I want to do is add a little white out here on this. So I think what I'll do is maybe put some white swooshes in there, and we'll see if we like that. I'm going to go with one of my homemade swoosh tools, and it's one of the smallest ones that I have. If you have not seen my homemade swoosh tools, basically what they are is a pencil with the eraser with an earring in the eraser, and they make a phenomenal swoosh tool. I'm looking for the smallest one. There it is. Now, I'm just gonna, this one's got quite a bit of paint on it. I'm just going to practice here for a minute just to make sure. Yep, it's good. Okay. So I'm going to take the white and I'm just going to swoosh down here. And I'm just swooshing down here along this walk dot area, just to add in some of that white. And then I'll come back and go the opposite direction. So this is what I'm talking about with going one direction and then turning around and going the totally opposite direction. Kind of allows you to get in a flow and be a little more consistent with your designs as you go through. Because if you're constantly switching back and forth one side to the other, for me, I'm not as consistent. But if I go through and do every area the same way at the same time, that helps me maintain that design a little bit better. Okay, I'm liking that. All right. Now, so that was my homemade swoosh tool that I just used there. Now, I'm going to go back in here. There is a little space right here that I want to fill in. And I'm going to fill it in with this pink on this one and with the purple on that one. And it's just going to be a small dot. I'm going to see what'll fit here. And I believe maybe a little bit bigger. I'm just measuring my tools here and seeing which one I think is going to fit better. It's my third one up from the smallest. Can I show you the earrings? Yes, I can. So let me show you a bigger one. So it's just a little pearl earring that I picked up at Walmart. So, and I just stick them in the end there. And it's a swoosh tool. So they're all the same. I have some gold ones and some pearl ones. So they're just little ball earrings. Oh, that one's not going to come out. And they come in a pack of like 5 or 6 of them in graduated sizes. And they work phenomenally well for swoosh tools. And I just stick them in the end there. And they're relatively inexpensive. I just got a pack of 20 pencils at the Dollar Tree for $1, and I think I got 6 pairs of earrings for $3.99. So literally for just a couple dollars. I know it is a great idea, isn't it? How that happened was last year I was waiting on my ball tools. I had ordered these, and it was during kind of the time when shipping wasn't real great. And I had ordered these off of Amazon, and it was taking forever for them to come in. And everybody was really doing a lot of swishing, and I wanted to really try it out. And I was like, what can I make that will take the place of these until they come in? And I came up with that idea of doing the earring tools, and I just love them. I rarely ever use those others. I don't like them. I use the earring tools. So if you look on my Facebook page under the videos, or you can go to my YouTube channel, and it's a video called Making Your Own Swoosh Tool. So for those of you who are in the Easy.art group, they're in the guides, I think is what it's called. That video is in the guides, Making Your Own Swoosh Tool. So check it out. It's very helpful, and it shows you step by step what I did. Really simple, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go back in, and I measured this tool here. And I am just going to go in with the matching color here that I started the area with. I just want to bring that color out. And I think it'll finish up that little triangle area there really well, bringing that color out. And so I'm going to do the pink on this section of triangles, and then I'll do the purple on the other. What I like to do with colors is I really like to have a color go throughout the design. If it's something that I like alternating my colors, you've probably noticed that. I like to go kind of in order. That way it disperses the colors throughout. And, you know, I don't know. For me, it's just pleasing to the eye to have it do that. And so if I have one element here that I have not incorporated that color somewhere else, most likely I'm going to pull that color out and bring it into a different area, simply because I want it to be throughout the design. So you know, just because we did that purple in the center and we didn't have any more throughout this triangle area, I think bringing that center color out helps that design flow better. And for me, that's just a design preference. You know, I don't know if you'll like doing that, but for me, it helps bring those colors out. Okay, now, the one thing I'm noticing here as I'm looking at this, I do like the empty space of the triangle, but I think we could finish off the circular area a little more with some small dots, and maybe put some small dots here on the edge. So I think we maybe go back and do that. And I think we'll use purple simply because we've got the pink and the blue on this area and the pink and the blue here. So let's do what we were just talking about. We're going to incorporate that purple in there. And it's just going to be just some small dots here. And I'm just going to go and dot each time and fill it in. I'm just using a little nail dot tool, and I'm going to do the circular area first and decide if I want anything more. So as I was saying at the beginning of the video, every time I do one of these Easy Dot Art templates, every one is different, simply because when I look at the design and I start, you know, maybe in a similar way, but it kind of veers off in a different direction, it gives me different ideas on how to incorporate design into the template. So that's the thing I love about them. For me, you know, when I started working with these, it was something that I wanted to design because I wanted people who were brand new to dot mandalas, dot art. I wanted people that were brand new to be able to feel comfortable working with designs and starting to create their own. So that was my desire in creating these templates for people, because I know when I got started years ago, that was the one thing that I felt like I was missing. I felt like I didn't have designs and I didn't know how to do designs. So that was the one thing that I was always talking to people about. How in the world do you get designs for dot art, and how do you get different designs? You know, that was my big thing. I wanted to know how to create something different. And so that was the desire behind me creating these Easy Dot Art templates, was to help people getting started figure out how to incorporate their own design process into dot art, and being confident that they could create something unique that they liked. And that was the whole reason behind me creating the Easy Dot Art templates for people to use. Okay, oh, I like that. Now, I may not go back up the side of that. I really like how that looks. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Now, I'm really loving the small dots on this. On the other two samples of this, I have done larger dots. Well, this one I did really large dots on the outside, and I top dotted. This one I did smaller dots. I have not top dotted this yet, so you guys could see what it looks like without top dots. This one, I'm really loving these smaller dots, so I may incorporate some of that into the design as I go through. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I'm really loving the negative space here. So I think that I will keep that negative space and not do anything further with that because I like it a lot. Okay, so what I think I want to do with the other, I'm thinking of putting just really small dots along the edge here. And I think what I want to do is just start with, you know, the smaller the dots, the more you're dotting, that's for sure. I just am going to look at incorporating just smaller dots on the edge here. And I like with this to show how those dots weave in and out. So I think what I'm going to do is start with what I deem to be the darkest color, purple. And I'm just going to start on this one edge. And I'm just going to work my way around. So I'm going to incorporate the layers here in this within my how I do the dotting so that you can see the layers. Now, it's always funny for me when I set on doing something like this. I always am like, oh, am I going to be able to fit these dots in here before I run out of room? So that's always the kind of conundrum on something like this, because I think I can fit one more in there without squeezing. And then I'm just going to go down here and around this corner, just like I did before. I'm going to wipe my tool off here because I don't want to get it to where my tool is kind of gunked up and to where my dots are not the same size. I'm going to redo that one there. Went off center a little bit. Going to refresh my little paint well here. That's the one thing you'll find out about dot art is you do not use a whole lot of paint. So it's nice to be able to buy a little bit more pricey paint and get really good results because you don't use a whole lot of it. So you can, you know, buy some nicer paints and not worry so much about the cost because you're not using them up really quickly. I am definitely going to get some more of these bright multi-surface satin paints, the Deco Art, because these colors are just phenomenal. Got to talking and wasn't paying attention there, and I could barely fit one in there. Okay, oh, that looks really nice. I'm loving that edge there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the edge on the other area. And I think we're gonna go with the pink. Yep, we're gonna go with the pink. And I'm gonna do the same size, same thing that we just did with the purple. And this is with the Pink Tropics. And I think we'll refresh that a little bit too. Okay, I'm going to continue to work my way around here. Okay, I'm loving the smaller dots on the outside edge. All right, now I'm going to do the entire outside with the deep turquoise. And I'll do the same size dotting tool, and I'm going to leave some negative space in there, just like I did in the center portion. And this is kind of writing right on the edge here. I'm getting that dot as close as I can to the edge without going over. Just cleaning my tool off in there between. Oh, thanks, Lynn. It's turning out nice, isn't it? And I'm not going to push that spot there. I don't want to crowd my dot. So this outer edge, this is taking patience because it would be real easy to just kind of hurry and rush these along, but I want to make sure that I'm getting them very close to the edge without going over. So I want to make sure that I'm doing pretty precise dotting here to make sure that I'm getting those where they need to be. Okay, now we'll finish up that outer edge here with the blue. I think that'll be real pretty with the double blues there. And it'll really show how the two different square designs here go in and through each other. I think that the two different blues will really help show that. Keeping my tool clean there. That one wasn't quite as big as I wanted it, so I redotted it there. I'm loving how this is turning out. You guys liking this? Okay. Go back and get that one again. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lynn. I love it too. All right, I'm loving this. Now, there we go. Oh, I'm loving it. Now, the only one thing that I may add here, I have to look at it a little while. I think it's going to need a little more white. So I may go back in the end, once it's all dry, and just put little teeny tiny white dots around that border. I don't know how I want to do that yet, so I need to think on that a little bit on this design. But here is design number 1 for the January Easy Dot Art Box. So if you want to have one of these for yourself to dot on, make sure you click on the link that I'm going to post below in the comments, and you can order your own Easy Dot Art subscription box. As long as you order by December 25th, you will get this design in the January box. So I hope you guys love this. If you have any questions, please let me know right in the comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.